Making headlines this hour, the president reiterates his steadfast commitment to justice and fairness, assuring impartiality in the administration of the law. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz arrives in Malaysia on an official visit at the invitation of Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. And President Dr. Mohamed Muiz unveils a pivotal initiative to introduce passport and identification card services for Maldivians living in Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Dham Naeem. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz reiterates his steadfast commitment to justice and fairness, assuring impartiality in the administration of the law. Speaking to PSM News ahead of his official visit to Malaysia, the president addressed the recent fatal incident involving a young woman who fell from a rooftop.
President Dr. Muiz reaffirmed his administration's unwavering focus on equity, highlighting its determination to prioritize justice without distinction. He rejected cruelty or partiality, underscoring his resolve to uncover the truth surrounding the 18th of April incident near H. Fentanoy. He underscored that no individual holds greater importance to him than the pursuit of justice. Acknowledging public concerns, President Dr. Muiz addressed accusations of attempts to obscure facts and stressed his commitment to accountability. Reiterating his pre-election pledge, he stressed his independence from external influences, describing himself as a servant of the people. In pursuit of a thorough investigation, President Dr. Muiz announced the formation of
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz arrives in Malaysia on an official visit at the invitation of Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. This marks President Dr. Muiz's first official visit to Malaysia. Upon arrival at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, the President was welcomed by Dr. Haji Zulkifli Ahmad, Minister of Health, Yubazlan bin Yusuf, Chief of Protocol of Malaysia, Rozaina bin Ramli, Chief of Ceremony of the Government, Prime Minister's Department Badli Hisham Adam, High Commissioner of Malaysia to Maldives, and Dr. Mariam Shabina Ahmad, High Commissioner of Maldives to Malaysia. The President was accorded an honor guard upon his arrival. President Dr. Muiz's visit to Malaysia reflects the close, cordial ties between the two countries. During the visit, the President will meet with the Prime Minister and hold official talks focusing on enhancing bilateral cooperation, exchanging views on regional and global issues, and exploring new avenues for partnership between the two countries. Both leaders will also witness the signing of key memoranda of understanding and exchange of notes between the Maldives and Malaysia in some key areas, the President's office said. President Dr. Muiz will attend a business forum organized by the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade and engage with leading Malaysian investors. He will also be visiting the International Islamic University, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz unveils a pivotal initiative to introduce a passport and identification card services for Maldivians living in Malaysia. This announcement was made during an interview with PSM News ahead of his official visit to the country. The trip, the government has said, is aimed at strengthening diplomatic relations and addressing the needs of Maldivian citizens residing in Malaysia. During the interview, President Dr. Muiz highlighted his administration's commitment to addressing the challenges faced by Maldivians abroad. He outlined plans to engage in formal discussions with Malaysian leaders to resolve these issues and to meet with the Maldivian community focusing on facilitating solutions through governmental support. The President also reviewed plans to establish the passport and identification card processing services in Malaysia, marking a significant step towards improving access to essential services for Maldivians living overseas. Beyond citizen services, the visit is set to spotlight investment opportunities in the Maldives. President Dr. Moise noted that Malaysian investors would receive detailed briefings on promising sectors, positioning the Maldives as an attractive destination for international ventures. Accompanying the President is a delegation of cabinet ministers and senior government officials. The government has identified key objectives for the visit, including the signing of memorandums of understanding to enhance cooperation in critical sectors and formal exchanges of official notes with Malaysian counterparts. The First Lady and Chief Guide, Madam Sajda Mohammed, emphasizes the vital role of the Girl Guide movement in promoting social values, human dignity and national pride. She made the remark while addressing at the 2024 annual general meeting of the Maldives Girl Guides Association. Speaking at the event held at the Center for Higher Secondary Education, CHSC, the First Lady remarked that the Girl Guide movement represents a vision that upholds many positive social values in the lives of Maldivians and forms an important part of the nation's rich culture and traditions. Emphasizing the significance of the event for all communities, First Lady noted that the Girl Guide movement serves as an institution of initiative, accountability and human responsibility. She further highlighted that the movement teaches that not all values in a monetary and that it champions the superiority of human dignity. She underscored that the movement encourages appreciation for the relationships it nurtures and fosters a pride in fulfilling duties with honesty and responsibility. During the meeting, the First Lady and Chief Guide emphasized the critical role of women in nation building, noting that it is impossible to build a nation without the full participation of women. She added that societal reform cannot succeed without recognizing and empowering the true role of women. At the event, the First Lady urged Maldivian women to be religiously conscious, to uphold the national spirit and to remain receptive to contemporary knowledge and skills. She also called for women to assume leading roles within society. The First Lady officially launched the website of the Maldives Girl Guide Association. She also presented certificates and badges to individuals who have served the association for 20 to 25 years. Madam Sajda further presented certificates, badges and scarves conferred by the Chief Commissioner and Deputy Chief Commissioner of Girl Guide, marking the conclusion of their respective terms of service. The Maldives Hajj Corporation has announced that visa arrangements as well as all necessary arrangements from Saudi Arabian side for this year's Hajj pilgrims from the Maldives have been completed. The corporation is now conducting training and information sessions and distributing Hajj kits to the pilgrims ahead of their departure.
Speaking to PSM News, Hajj Corporation's Deputy Managing Director Al-Ustaz Ali Sharif said training programs are already being conducted twice a week for the pilgrims. He said the distribution of luggage to the pilgrims has already commenced, with each receiving a kit containing ihram, essential items needed for worship as well as information booklets. Ali Sharif said that besides the arrangements to be made in Mecca and Medina before the departure of the 1,000 Maldivian pilgrims, the arrangements for the Masha'ir, the sacred sites of Mina, Arafat and Muzdalifah, where rituals of the Hajj pilgrimage are performed, are also nearing completion. According to Ali Sharif, the first group of pilgrims is scheduled to depart to Mecca in 26th of May. Prior to that, an advance team will leave for Mecca in the 16th of May to make the final arrangements and welcome the pilgrims. Ali Sharif explained that this year's Hajj flights will be operated over 4 days with services provided by Saudi Airlines as well as the national flag carrier Maldivian. Addressing the challenges faced by pilgrims each year, Ali Sharif said the corporation has undertaken several measures to alleviate the difficulties. Ali Sharif said unlike previous years, pilgrims will return to the Maldives from Medina Airport after completing the Hajj rituals and their visit to Medina, avoiding the 6-hour journey from Medina to Jeddah Airport. According to him, arrangements have also been made for both local doctors traveling from the Maldives as well as doctors at Meccan hospitals to provide immediate assistance to pilgrims. In addition, a health clinic will also be established at the hotel where the pilgrims will be staying to provide emergency medical care.
Two-thirds of the Haskell Free Library and Opera House sits in Canada. The rest is in the United States, including the building's main entrance. Until recently, Canadians were able to access the library through its main entrance in the U.S. state of Vermont without going through a formal border crossing or showing a passport.
Then the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump announced Canadians would be forbidden from entering the library through the U.S. side unless they were library members. From October 1st, everyone will have to go through border control to enter through it. Sylvie Boudreau, president of the library's board of trustees, said both American and Canadian users of the library greeted the news with frustration.
The patrons and all the people in the two communities were very mad. They were frustrated. Americans were apologizing because they were just like, this is not us. We don't want this. People felt betrayed because the symbol of the library is really friendship, unification. But I see it that what happened is we raised above all that. We rose about all that because people stuck together and they said, okay, let's do it. We will show them that it's not because they are doing this that we will stop being friends, that we will stop coming to the library, that we will stop giving our support to the library. So it was a movement of solidarity that was amazing and still amazing, still.
The library and adjacent opera house opened in 1904 when cross-border structures were permitted, financed by a Canadian philanthropist, Martha Stewart Haskell, to foster cross-border friendship and cooperation between the U.S. and Canada. The library is public, but it's privately owned, run by a private international board of 4 Americans and 3 Canadian directors. The building is recognized as a historic site in both countries. The Trump administration said it was used by drug traffickers and smugglers and said it was closing access for Canadians to protect Americans. In recent years, the library has attracted families separated by visa issues who used it to meet their relatives stuck on the other side of the border. It was also illegally used to smuggle 104 handguns into Canada. The weapons were purchased in Florida and left in the library's bathroom's trash can to be picked up by a Canadian, Alexis Vlachos, who later sold them in Quebec, which has strict gun laws. In 2018, Vlachos was sentenced to 51 months in prison by a federal court in Burlington, Vermont. Boudreau said incidents like that were rare, and her staff has been trained since then on how to recognize any illegal activity and stop it.
Palestinians gathers at a soup kitchen in central Gaza Strip to receive hot meals. Many waved empty pots, awaiting for their turns to fill them with food. Gaza head of the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, Jonathan Whittle, says that the coming days in Gaza are going to be, quote, critical under a total and complete blockade.
The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, allowed journalists to visit its main warehouses, which appeared empty of food aid, including flour. Since March 2nd, Israel completely cut off all supplies to the 2.3 million residents of the Gaza Strip, and food stockpiled during a ceasefire at the start of the year has all but run out. OCHA warned that food supplies across Gaza are experiencing a severe decline as malnutrition rates escalate rapidly.
The coming days in Gaza are going to be critical. Today, people are not surviving in Gaza. Those that aren't being killed with bombs and bullets are slowly dying. People here are being suffocated. What we see around us is endless suffering under a total and complete blockade. A total closure that's now lasted for almost 2 months, while airstrikes, ground operations are intensifying, and displacement orders that are pushing people out of their homes are increasing. We know that hospitals are overwhelmed, yet the supplies needed to provide treatment are running low. We know that people are hungry and that malnutrition rates are rising, but our warehouses are empty.
While the prices of essential supplies continue to rise due to the Israeli blockade, UNRWA called for a renewed ceasefire, the dignified release of all hostages in Gaza, and the unhindered flow of humanitarian aid and commercial supplies. Israel has previously denied that Gaza is facing a hunger crisis. The military accuses the Hamas militants who have run Gaza of exploiting aid, which Hamas denies, and says it must keep all supplies out to prevent the fighters from getting it. Hamas denies exploiting aid and accuses Israel of using starvation as a military tactic.
Despite the challenges, we're continuing to try to operate where we can, to do what we can do, to provide for people to meet their needs. But we have less and less and less supplies and less capacity to be able to meet the growing needs that are intensifying across Gaza. Lives depend on the blockade being lifted, on aid being allowed to enter into Gaza, on the ceasefire being reinstated, and I hope that we see real accountability.
The Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs said 25,000 aid trucks had entered Gaza in the 42 days of the ceasefire before it shut the border at the start of March, and that Hamas had used the aid to rebuild its war machine.
Philippine and U.S. soldiers participate in annual joint military exercises involving air and missile defenses north of Manila.
More than 14,000 Philippine and U.S. soldiers are participating in the Balikatan or shoulder-to-shoulder exercises, which are aimed at enhancing interoperability as well as maritime, territorial, and coastal defenses. The drills are expected till May 9th and will also include some soldiers from Australia and Japan.
So today we're defending the coastline here. Again, FA-50s flew out simulating cruise missiles. So the frigate engaged the cruise missiles. They turned around and started coming towards the shoreline, which Spider then integrated. And then we started flying drones against Mattis in defense of Spider.
The annual joint exercises come amid an ongoing escalation between the Philippines and China over contested resource-rich islands in the South China Sea.
England overcame an irrepressible France 43-42 at Twickenham to clinch a Grand Slam and 7th successive Women's Six Nations title that also extended their record-winning streak in the tournament to 34 matches.
The Red Roses were clinical in attack during a breathless first half that saw tries from Abby Dow, Emma Singh, Lark Atkin-Davis, and Claudia McDonald, but leaked 3 scores to their resilient and opportunistic visitors to squander a 31-7 lead and leave it at 31-21 at halftime. English captain Zoe Altcroft finished after Abby Dow cut through before French winger Kelly Arby replied as the game sustained its breakneck, tit-for-tat pace in the second half. France were never out of the game, and when Joanna Grosset scorched over down the left to make it 43-42 with a minute left to go, the upset for an England team that had not lost a Six Nations game since 2018 looked on before the hosts finally triumphed. It was a showcase of attacking rugby from both sides that left serious questions about England's defence. Ahead of a home World Cup in August that they are desperate to win and exorcise the demons of their defeat in the 2021 final.
A saber that a French Emperor Napoleon decoded for his personal use will soon be up for auction in Paris.
Napoleon kept the highly decorated sword throughout his reign, commissioned by the armorer Nicolas Noël Boutet in 1802 before offering it to Emmanuel de Grouchy, the last marshal of the empire. Preserved since 1815 by the marshal's descendants, it will be put up for auction for the first time on the 22nd of May at the Hotel Drouot auction house in Paris. Drouot auctioneer Alexandre Gouquelot said that the saber was a highly ceremonial and costly weapon worth the price of several normal houses. Made of gilded silver and with a sheath made of shark skin, the sword was expected to fetch up to €1,000,000 or $1.1 million at the auction. Napoleon, who died on the 5th of May 1821 at the age of 51, still divides opinion. To some, he was a celebrated commander who built a vast empire and in France constructed a modern centralized state. To others, he was a despotic tyrant.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air application nu tiya befrunna hile balalevene adi aduwa halevene duniyege komme taaguhuregen komme gadiyaku PSM ge channel ta balaluma avaha PSM Air app download kurawwa miharu app store unna Google Play Store invest mi app download kollevene
මුළු රාජ්‍යයේ ආබාධිගේ බොඩු හිංසතේ දිරුල මුන්දා මේ මාද සිටි සරහද බදාදේ අරුගා මේ ආබාධිගේ සබොන් තෆාතු ගින ගොන්ජුතක කුර්මත් ලාන්චි ෆම්වානි හාස ගොතෙග්ග ආබාධි ඉතුරුම්ගේ සබොන් මාදේගේ මගුතක මාදේ සරහදුගේ මගුතක මේ ඉතුරුව මුන්දා උලන්තුතකගේ සබොන් තෆාතු එක එක ඇක්සිඩන්ට් තක් කොම්මේ දුහක සිංග මුන්දා කම් ෆාහක් වදන් ජෙහෙ තොජ්ජමුන්දා ආබාධිගේ සබුන් තෆාත එක එක ඉජ්තිමායි මසලත දිමාවා අයරුගා කුෂුගේ වෙට්ට වෙස්මුවනි වර බොඩති බදතකෙන් ඇස අරුමන්ගේ මුලි මුජ්තමාකේ කුෂුගේ වෙෂින් රක්කාතරි කුරේෆවා මාහෝදකන් හෙදමට්ටක එම්මන්ගේ zimma තකෙන් එබයි තිබේ ෆුන්නන් එ හුරිහා zimma තකෙගේ වාහක zimma ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්